Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Quantum Nurse Livestream. And thank you very much for always supporting me and all my guests. And thank you for taking care of yourselves. And wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because I know some of you from the Philippines are listening. And if you couldn't be with us right now, please feel free to share it. After this being streamed in YouTube and also at Facebook, I'll make sure that I upload this in BitChute, and so you can share it from there as well at Quantum Nurse BitChute and also Quantum Nurse Rumble. Okay, so I hope everyone is ready because my guest today, and I'm very happy and excited to have him. And by the way, Dr. Young, it was my sister from the Philippines who found you. When she
Okay.
kept listening, and she said, "Hey, you haven't had Dr. Young," so and he sent me. One of those video interviews you had. So I said, okay, let me invite you. So thank you.
hmm
And
Oh, thank you.
so he is Dr. Robert Young is has been around. Okay, he is one of the top research scientists in the world, and he is a co-author of the book The pH Miracle: Balance Your Diet, Reclaim Your Health, and that it has become and maybe still a number one in Amazon. And he has tons of research articles. So when you Google him and when you do research, you could find a lot of articles about him. And not just about him, but really the work that he does in terms of helping people, complementary medicine, alternative medicine, orthomolecular medicine. So anything that resonates to you that you need, this is the time to listen, and this is the time to get to know Dr. Robert Young. So, Dr. Young, go ahead and tell us more about what you do, and what is it that makes you passionate to do what you're doing, and why is that important nowadays?
Well, I think the true definition of a physician is an educator, and educating people how to take care of their bodies in a natural way. I think is very, very important. So, over the last 40 years, I've been an educator to empower people to take responsibility for their own health. It is their body, it is their life, and of course, should be their choice how they want to care for that. And so I've spent the last 4 decades educating people concerning the new biology. And that new biology is defined as a new way of living, eating, and thinking, and how to take care of the body's context or uh, its internal environment, and how to manage that and maintain the delicate pH balance of the internal fluids of the body. We are a body of water, and that water needs to be maintained at an alkaline state, and particularly the largest body of water or the largest organ of the body, which is called the interstitial fluids. And these interstitial fluids are contained in the largest organ of the body called the interstitium. And this organ is not well understood by many people, but this contains the fluid that surrounds every cell in the human body. So for many years, I've been studying the body fluids and how to manage those, how to personally take the responsibility for testing those fluids. You can do this on your own, and to help maintain, much like you would take care of a saltwater aquarium or a swimming pool. You would manage the biochemistry of those fluids in order to prevent the growth or the birth of germs. So my theories are based upon the terrain theory. They're not based upon the germ theory. They're not based upon the viral theory. I look at so-called filterable bacteria or viral particulates as symptomologies of cellular breakdown, not the cause of any specific disease, but a symptom of cellular transformation based upon a compromised internal environment. Excuse me. So with that, I don't know if you got all that or not, but that's what I've been doing for the last 40 years. I've written over 70 books, published over 3,000 articles, and of course, those articles can be Most of those articles, at least for the last couple of years, can be viewed at drrobertyoung.com. So I have a scientific area that you can go, scientific articles, and then I have a blog. And of course, that blog contains over 3,000 articles. And the scientific articles, there's close to 300.
Well, thank you so much. So, Dr. Young, you know, with all the work that you do, some people, and there are already comments and people that, you're always in that environment where things can be intriguing and people can really doubt what you are doing, or what doubt all your research. So how are you handling all that controversies?
Well, I think there's a tremendous amount of protectionism to protect this etiology. And of course, all you have to do is follow the money, but to protect this idea that germs cause disease. And I would suggest to you that if a fish is sick, which is a metaphor of the pH miracle, if a fish is sick, what would you do? Would you treat the fish or would you change the water? And I would suggest, common sense would tell you that you would manage and maintain the water in which this fish swim in. And of course, if the ocean, which is being affected by acid rain, continues to drop, then life within that environment alters, and of course, death ensues. So the life of the fish is really predicated on its environment. And that's true with the human cell. The human cell is only as healthy as the environment in which it swims in, just like the fish. And it's interesting because the interstitial fluid pH is identical to the oceans at 8.3 to 8.4. And that is the ideal pH of the interstitial fluids in order to maintain the integrity and life of the human cell. Much different than the vascular fluids, which are at 7.365. But it's easy to discount what I'm saying, particularly if you have no education in this particular field. If you don't have a background in biochemistry, if you don't have a background in nutrition, if you don't have a background in uh, naturopathy, or uh, you know if you don't have the history behind this and don't understand both the contemporary views and the alternative views, which are actually more conventional than contemporary, that Chinese medicine has or Asian medicine has been very focused on an environmental or contextual approach to the treatment or reversal of disease, where Westernized medicine has been more on treating specific disease, which has not worked out very well. It's great for pharmaceutical companies, and it's great for the doctors who are prescribing these pharmaceuticals, but they in themselves are not designed to cure things, but to just continue this symptomology, or to reduce the symptomology without really understanding the underlying causes. So I think today the biggest challenge is understanding the cause and effect relationship. And that's really the definition of the book, The pH Miracle. People would ask me, why did you call your book? And this book has sold millions of copies and has been translated in over 27 different languages. One happens to be in the language of the Philippine people, but also Korean and Russian and French and English and etc. Spanish. There are many translations of this book. But the theory is to understand and teaches the cause and effect relationship. So if you have a fever, is that caused by a virus, or is that a symptom of the body trying to induce a fever to remove toxins out through the pores of the skin? I would suggest that there is no influenza virus. I would suggest that there's an imbalance of the interstitial fluids that surround the cells. And if the body does not eliminate these toxins, which can either be environmental, they can be metabolic, they can be dietary, or they can be respiratory, If the body can't release its waste, then the body induces a fever to do that. And if you look at the so-called flu season, and the flu season is coming upon us, what is our lifestyle like? Does it alter at all? Is there temperature changes? Is there more stress? Is there an increase in acidic foods of alcohol or sugar within that period of time? And what does your body do to prevent from breaking down? It induces a fever as a symptom to purify itself. Women understand this, you know, with their menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is not a disease. Menstrual cycle is a cleansing process that happens once a month naturally. A fever is nothing more than the body trying to purify itself, much like a menstrual cycle is trying to purify itself. If there is a fertilization, of course, the health of that conception can only be in an alkaline environment, and in protecting that environment can only protect that new fetus that is going to become the new child.